Hey guys, it's Abby, and I am the maker and designer behind Sew Homey. I would like to thank you so much if you are coming back to enjoy another podcast episode. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Abby, and I like to release a podcast episode once a month. And in that episode, I talk about the finished objects, so all of the projects that I have made and completed throughout the month. And then I also like to talk about the projects that are in progress. So we have the WIP section, or work in progress. And those are just the projects that I started and I've been working on during the month. And sometimes I work on the same project for several months. So you might be seeing a few of the same project, but hopefully there will be progress on there. And then I also like to talk about my acquisitions, or all of the yarn or accessories and tools that I have accumulated just throughout the month. So that's kind of how I like to lay out my episodes, and thank you so much for joining me today. So I was looking in the camera earlier and my hair is a little fuzzy. I went outside, we had a picnic with some friends, my boyfriend and I, and they cooked burgers out, and it was a really nice time. And I'm really glad that the weather was sunny today because it's been raining the past few days, and that was a nice change. But my hair is a little fuzzy, so I hope it doesn't show up too much on the blank wall behind me. But I'm glad to be here now, and I'm so grateful that I feel well enough, because this is technically my second time to film this podcast, this episode. I mean, unfortunately, I just wasn't really feeling up to it. A few days ago, I got a cold last week, or at the beginning of last week, and it just lasted for a while. And I sat down to film this on Thursday, and it was at night, and I just looked super washed out because I have a light, but it was dark whenever I was trying to film it, and then I just wasn't really feeling into it. So I saved it for today. I'm feeling much better, and I feel a lot more chipper, so hopefully that shows in this video. So I'm not sure when you'll be watching this, but this is going to be my podcast for the month of April 2021. So these will cover all of the things that I have been working on in April. So let's go ahead and start with my first finished object. And I'm super proud to show you this one. I just finished it a few weeks ago. Last weekend I was able to get photos because I went home for my sister's birthday, and while I was there we got to take pictures of this because I was pattern testing it for Janine Myska, and her Instagram handle is Knits and Nuts Winnipeg, and I'll add all of her information below. But this is her Mountain Peaks cardigan, and let me show you, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. I've got to move this chair. Okay, I just looked at my phone because that's how I film these, and I just want to make sure that you can see it. I think you can get a good enough view of it, but now I just want to talk to you a little bit more about this cardigan. Okay, I just checked my phone because that's how I film these, and I think you can see well enough the cardigan. You can see the full length. It definitely cuts off my head, so you're only going to be able to see here down, but you can see how long it is, and this is the size small sweater or cardigan. And like I was saying before, this was a pattern test. This was my first time ever testing for anybody, and it was a really great experience. It went very smoothly, and I got a beautiful cardigan out of it. So, and I got the pattern, so I'm really happy about that, just for those things. But this design is coming out in Janine's book that is getting released in November of 2021. And in it she has 20 sweater designs, so that includes sweaters and cardigans. And since I was on her tester list, she sent emails because she had different waves of testing. She scheduled them out so that she only had a few tests at a time. And I got to see sneak peeks of a few of her designs. Actually, all of the designs. I shouldn't say a few. I got to see a sneak peek of all of them. And let me tell you, they are all gorgeous. So definitely go look at her Instagram. She has a few photos out on some of the designs. Not all of them, I don't think. But definitely go give her a follow if you like what you see there too. I don't actually personally know her or anything like that. She's just someone that I've found on Instagram, and I really like her content. She does a lot of crochet wearable items, and she makes them in a way they always look beautiful. And crochet can look kind of chunky sometimes whenever you make a sweater or a cardigan even, but I really like all of her designs, so that's why I followed her, and that's why I am mentioning her to you now. Oh, and you can also pre-order her book if you're interested. I think if you go to her Instagram, you might be able to, or if you just go on Amazon and search for her name, I think you can pre-order it that way. I am not 100% sure on that though, but I do know that pre-order started now. Now, this cardigan, believe it or not, is an easy level crochet pattern, which means if you have never picked up a crochet hook or ball of yarn, this is totally doable for you. Now, I do have a lot of crochet experience, and this is probably, I can't remember, maybe my second cardigan. I think the first one I ever made was just a pattern that I made up, and it's cute, but it ended up being super, super, super long. It's almost like I'm wearing a blanket, which is definitely has its perks. I will probably show that to you in one episode. I'm not going to show you today, but I think this is only the second cardigan that I've technically crocheted, and I'm really happy with the fit. But I was saying that just because it's an easy level pattern. So let me talk about that. So all you need to learn is how to chain, how to half double crochet, because that's all you use is the half double crochet on the cardigan. Only stitch that you need besides the beginning chain. Other than that, you'll also want to learn to weave in the ends, which is not difficult at all, and then how to seam because you have it in different pieces, so you'll have to learn to seam them together. But again, like all of those things you can learn as you go. So it looks difficult, but I promise it's not hard at all. And I really think anybody that's interested in crocheting or knitting and really wants to start making items that they can wear, then yeah, this is a really good project for you. And I can't wait for you guys to have access to it whenever her pattern gets released in November. So a little more about the cardigan. It's crocheted from the bottom up, and you crochet it in 5 different pieces. So we have the 2 front panels. These are 2 separate pieces, and then you have the back panel, which is just one long piece, and long and wide, and then you have 2 of the sleeves. And whenever you're crocheting the front and the back panels, you are crocheting from the bottom up. So I'll try to show you. I don't know how well this is going to work, but you start here with the ribbing, or it kind of looks like ribbing, and maybe the hem, I don't know actually, but you start crocheting with the half double crochet, and you actually are crocheting this way, so you're crocheting in rows back and forth. But then whenever you reach the length that she states for whatever size you choose, then you flip the piece over so that then you're crocheting back and forth this way, and you end up with the look like this. Of course, the pocket was added later, but that's essentially what you're doing for the front and back panels. And then for the sleeve, you also start with the cuff. So you start out here, and it's you crochet in rows, and once you reach that length, then you start crocheting along the top. But the sleeve is different because you're not working back and forth, you're working in the round. So each time you make a round, you slip stitch and then chain one, and then you continue on to the next one, and that's just going to keep the rows lined up. Since you have some color blocking in it, you don't want the colors to get off, so you don't want to crochet in a spiral, so that's why you chain, like you slip stitch and then chain one so that it's all connected, and then you just crochet in the round all the way up, and then you just seam all 5 pieces together at the end. So it's a super simple project. I probably finished it in like a week, just crocheting off and on. Sometimes I had a couple hours to work on it a day, sometimes I didn't have that much time, maybe 30 minutes. So I think if I probably combined it all, I crocheted it in a week or less. But it took me several days to swatch for this because I was trying to use up yarn that I had in my box back in my room. Unfortunately, that yarn didn't work, so I had to go to Hobby Lobby, which I was so disappointed. But I found this yarn, and it's called Bamboo to Full by Yarn Bee. And I don't remember the blend. I don't remember if it's 100% cotton. I think it is. But it's a really beautiful yarn to work with. One thing is it's very splitty, so there's it's not completely wound together as you crochet with it. You have to be careful, not to split the yarn, and that's the only thing about that yarn. But I really like the way that it works up. The stitch definition is on point. I really like it, and it's super soft and very lightweight, so it came in perfect time for the spring. Now, to seam the cardigan together, I used the mattress stitch. So I like this look. I haven't actually used another technique on seaming cardigans together. So if you've ever done that before, would you mind leaving a comment down below telling me like what, like how you like to seam your cardigans and your sweaters together? Because I am curious on other ways to do that. I know with, I used to crochet boot cuffs when those were super popular years ago. I think I just did like, I just slip stitched them all together, and I remember that you have more of a bulkier seam. But anyway, if you wouldn't mind, just let me know what seaming technique you like to use. Just because like in her pattern it says use whatever seaming technique you like, so I'm curious what other seaming techniques are out there. Now, I just started talking about the cardigan. I didn't really think in advance to show you a picture, so I'll flash up a picture here of her cardigan just so you can see what hers looks like. And you'll notice that there are 3 different colors. So she just did like big sections, color blocked sections of the colors that she chose. Now, unfortunately, the yarn that I found that worked for the gauge, the way that I crochet at least, and the hook size that I needed to use, the yarn that I found, which I talked about, unfortunately, I didn't find 3 colors that I really liked that would make those color block sections look nice. I thought this pink might work, but whenever I got home with it, I really wasn't in love with it, so I decided to nix that, and I just went with my own striping pattern, which in the pattern she said that you can do whatever striping pattern you would like. So I swatched a few different striping patterns, and I ended up with the one that you see here, where I have smaller stripes of the green and then bigger of this white color. And I really like the way that that looks, because I actually crocheted a full front panel. One full front panel. I crocheted it. I had the ends, I think I had all the ends woven in, and then I just got home with it because I was working on it while I was out And oh my gosh, I wasn't really in love with the really small green stripes. It was just too much, I think. So I'm glad that I went with the bigger ones. I ended up ripping it out, and I was very I was a little sad because I spent a lot of time on it, but I'm really glad that I did, because now I really like it and I'll definitely wear it. So that's another reason why it took me longer to crochet this as well, just because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do the stripes and really get a look that I liked. Now, as part of the pattern test, we had to post to Instagram a couple of times just to show off the design. And it's funny because after I posted one of my photos, Janine actually, she saw it and she was like, wait, I didn't even recognize that that was my cardigan, because the striping pattern was totally different. So if you go to Instagram, you can look at the hashtag Mountain Peaks Cardigan, and you'll see a lot of different versions. There are a lot of, most are the way that she did it with just a color block, but you can also do a solid color, or, you know, I don't remember seeing that many with a different striping pattern. I think I saw one, if I recall, but I'm sure that there's more up there now. I'll just have to go look. But if you're interested in seeing the different color variations and striping patterns, definitely look up that hashtag. And yeah, again, I can't wait for this pattern to come out so that everyone else can get their hands on it. All right, so my next finished object, if you have watched any of my previous episodes, if you are one of the few that has, well, thank you for returning, and you will notice this next pattern, which I'm grabbing, my socks. I finally finished the full pair. I think in my last episode I only had one sock, but this month I finally finished, and I'm really happy. So I'll add all of the information below for the sock pattern, but it's called Simple Toe Up Socks by Carmen Yorison, and I found these on Ravelry. It's a free pattern. It takes you straight to her blog, and then she also created these super helpful videos where she walks you through all the techniques. So let me show you this really quick. So this is the sock. I used Patton's Croy sock yarn. This is just something I had in my stash that I was planning on making a pair of fingerless mittens, crocheted of course. I had planned that like years ago, and I never got around to it, so they actually became socks. And as the name suggests, the socks are knit toe up, and that was different. This is only my second type of sock, actually only my second pair of socks to ever knit. So I'm really happy with the look. Honestly, they're really great. And anyway, so I was talking about the toe up. So you start here, and what's really great, I was saying that Carmen has these videos that will show you exactly what to do. So you use what's called Judy's Magic Cast On, which I had never heard of before, but it really is magic. Like, you cast on in a way that you can't even see a seam. All of those stitches just blend right in, and I don't know if you can see that here, but it's really cool how it works. And you want to make sure that you get it tight enough just so you don't get a hole in your toe, but it was a really cool technique, and I, again, had never seen that before. And yeah, so then you just knit from here, you increase until it's the size you want, and then you just knit in the round the foot part. And then her pattern uses a German short row heel, and then so that's like where you knit the heel, and then the front part of the stitches, those are just held on one needle, and then whenever you have the heel done, then you just join back in the round, and then you knit the leg of the sock, and then you finish off with the cuff, and then you use a stretchy bind off. And for all of the techniques like the stretchy bind off, the German short row heel, the cast on, and how to increase, all of those are videos that she created to help you. So that's why I suggest this pattern. I highly recommend it because it's very easy to follow and you don't have to memorize anything other than, like, once you know how to increase, you don't have to watch that video again, just keep going. And then if you need help on the heel, which I have to look up every time because I can't remember how she does it, which I only did that twice, I guess, but yeah, it was a very simple pattern, and again, I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed this pattern, and I really like the self-striping effect of that yarn. I wasn't sure what it would look like. It was kind of crazy with all of those colors. I wasn't really sure, and I've never used a self-striping yarn, so I'm really happy with how they turned out. And I'll show you in the whip section, but my boyfriend saw me knitting socks and he asked me to knit him some, and I suggested we could have matching socks. I'm not sure, I'm not going to make his as crazy, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, that was the second finished object that I finished this month, or in April. And then these are small. Sorry, I dropped it. So these are small and not a whole lot to speak of, I guess, but I did do them and I wanted to show you what I did with them. So I made these cute little flowers, and I just used a cotton worsted weight yarn that I had lying around, and I was playing with the different sizes on like what stitch to use. And I made a little short if you're interested. I've probably seen it somewhere. I just made a little short because I use these for my Mother's Day gift. Because in the US, Mother's Day is May 9th, and I was early this year because, one, I was motivated because I made a video on crochet Mother's Day gifts, and I wanted to get that out in time for people to see it before Mother's Day so that you would have time to actually make something. So if you're interested, I'll add it below, and then I'll put a little card up here so you can go find that one. But that was really my big motivation, but also since my sister's birthday was last weekend, I went home and I wasn't sure I'd actually get to go home again before Mother's Day, so I just went ahead and gave my sister her birthday gift and then my mom her Mother's Day gift. So I'm good. I don't have to worry about that anymore. Next one is Father's Day, I guess, and I have time for that though, so I'm not too worried. But that's why I made these flowers, and what I did with the flower was I actually glued one onto cardstock paper, and then I made my mom a cute little Mother's Day card. I'll make sure to put a picture up here. And then I also made flowers that are about this size, and I used crochet thread. I just held it double-stranded to make a thicker one. And then I don't remember what hook size I made, but I did make a flower like this, and then I left string attached to the flower, and then I just tied it onto the box, and I just wrapped it in brown paper. And I got this idea from Two Girls Patterns, and I'll make sure to add their information below as well. But they had something similar. They actually have a flower pattern in their blog post as well, if you would like to follow that one. And it's smaller than the one that I used, but I just thought that it was very simple, but it looked really cute as well, and I thought it would be a great decoration for Mother's Day, and that's what I did. And I also wanted to give my mom something crochet because I don't make her things very often, so I went with a little cutesy kind of decorative flowers this year. Just because I didn't have that much time to actually crochet a full project at the time. But yeah, that's what I did with those, and I think that's all of the finished objects that I completed in April. All my time was spent mainly on this cardigan, and then I got sick and was out for like a week and didn't do hardly anything, so yeah, that's pretty much what I got done in this month. So the next section we'll talk about are my work in progress, or my whips, and Let me show you the first one. I kind of mentioned it earlier whenever I showed you my socks. I have like almost a full skein left, and it looks all blech right now because I ripped it out because it was going to be too big, because I'm making a sock for my boyfriend, and I was trying to see how I wanted to do it because this pair of socks took a full skein of a 50-gram ball of patent croy sock yarn, and then a little bit of the second 50-gram skein. So I knew since my boyfriend's feet are bigger than mine, I wouldn't have enough with less than a full skein. But I was thinking I might be able to get the toe and foot part of the sock in this color and then just do the cuff or the leg and the cuff a separate color. But math didn't work that way. I wouldn't have enough, unfortunately. Still, so what I did was, and I think he's gonna like these a lot better anyway, I did the toe because I'm using the same pattern as I did for those, so it's still the simple toe up sock pattern, just because I liked it and it's something that I'm familiar with now, and it just works really well, so that's why I'm doing this pattern again. I am curious in trying other patterns, but I'm doing the toe and the heel and maybe the cuff, I'm not sure, but I'm using that really rainbowy kind of color, and then I found it's actually a grayish. I thought it was more brown, but it looks more gray now, and I think I'll look at the colorway in a minute, but I'm gonna make, what was I saying? So I'm going to make the rest of the sock. So basically the foot and then the leg part, that will be this grayish color. So that's all I have done so far. And I actually had a lot more to show a few days ago because like I said, I had almost the full foot and toe of the sock done, but it was too big and yeah, it didn't work. So I ripped it out, and this is what I have started so far. And then, oops, sorry, I dropped it. So I have one more work in progress, and this one also I don't have much to show for it yet. I have waited until the last minute to start this, but it's another pattern test that I started, or that I applied for, and this one is for, I always mispronounce her name. I'll put her name up here, but her Instagram handle is Fibertails. And she's got very beautiful designs. She's a knitwear designer, and I've been following her for a long time too. I just really like her aesthetic, and I think she lives in Denmark, so she shows some of her gardening. That's what she's been showing lately, and then whenever it snows there, I don't know, I just really like her style, and her Instagram is just a lot of fun to look at. Sorry, I keep rambling. I'm just talking today. Maybe I just need to get my words in. I don't know. But anyway, I am signed up to pattern test one of her new sweaters that's coming out. I don't actually know when. And I don't actually have a name to share with you yet because it's called Basket Sweater right now, but that's not actually the final name. So whenever I know that, I will let you know. But I will be working on this project at least until May. Maybe even longer. I don't know when the deadline is. I think I just have to have the yoke done by the end of May, which gives me plenty of time. But this is my first pattern to ever test knit. And it seems simple. This is all that I have done. I was going to have more to show you. I was actually working on it before I sat down to film this, just while I was taking notes. But unfortunately, I just got like a couple rows, maybe 3 rows max on here. But I'm working on the neck part, or the collar, whatever that's called, collar. And it's a 1x3 ribbing, which I've actually never done, and I really like the look of it. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about this project yet because I haven't really gotten through it and I haven't really done much. I already know that there are some terms that I don't know. So M1R, I'm very new to sweater knitting. I have knit back and forth a lot of things, and I made hats and whatnot, so I know circular knitting. I just haven't done things that have that many increases and that type of thing. So it's still new. I am totally still learning and I'm up for it. I'm really happy that I signed up for this pattern because again, it gives me a lot of experience, and I'll have another sweater, which actually I signed up for the extra small because that was the slot, and I don't actually think that's going to fit me. I'm a small, and I don't think the extra small will fit me just because of my bust size, but I have cousins that I think will be able to fit in it, so if it doesn't fit me, I will gift it to somebody. And yeah, anyway, I'll cross that bridge whenever I come to it. I haven't even finished it. I have this much left, so I don't know why I'm thinking about that right now. But the pattern has 3 different colors, and this is going to be the first color. It's this purple, so this is going to be the main color, and I chose this one because I already had it in my stash. I had 3 balls, and I'm holding it double stranded, you can see, because it's a DK weight yarn, but I think it's closer to fingering, honestly. And holding it 2 gave me closer to her gauge, and I think that I'll be able to make it work with the needle sizes, and then blocking if it's a little too, if it's a little off of gauge, I think blocking will help as well. But this is the yarn, actually, this yarn is from Hobby Lobby as well, and it is called Soft and Sleek DK, and it's by Yarn Bee, and I bought this like over a year ago. I was with my sister who works at Hobby Lobby, and she got me a discount over the holiday season because I bought this green and gray and then this purple color. I started a sweater for her and still haven't finished that one, and then I bought this yarn and it's just been sitting there and I was waiting for a project, and you know, I figured maybe I would try it for this sweater, so I think it'll work. I'm really happy to get started and do more on this. It will definitely take more of my attention because again, some of the techniques and some of the terms I don't actually know, and I have to familiarize myself with it, so it's a what am I trying to say? So I'm excited to learn new skills, and I think that's all that I really want to talk about this project. Hopefully I'll have more to say about it next month. Again, I haven't gotten much left, or I haven't knit much on it, so I don't have much to show for it, but hopefully next month I will have more to show you, and maybe you'll be able to see the stripes. But since I didn't have the stripes and I wanted to do the stripes in this sweater, I went to Hobby Lobby and I got new yarn, and just for the sweater, of course. And okay, so this is, we're gonna start the new acquisitions. I didn't say that, but we're moving on to acquisitions, and this is what the label looks like. Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK. It says it's a low pill. I'm actually not sure about that because that yarn got tangled, unfortunately, and my brother was kind to untangle it for me, but in the process, since the fibers rubbed together, it did start pilling. So, and it's super soft, so I think that over time it is going to pill. I hope that that's not going to be a problem, but it might be. It is 100% acrylic, and it says low pill acrylic. I'm not sure about that. But what I really like about this is it has 478 yards in a skein, which is a ton, and it's relatively inexpensive for yarn. And yeah, I've been happy knitting with it. It's soft and I don't have much to say other than that. But this is the colorway Oxblood is what it says, and it's that reddish purple color that has a lot of black in it. And then I also got, they had this is like one of the darker grays that they had, and this one is Cedar. And I'm hoping that these two will look good together because these are going to be the main stripe colors. And then she also has a lighter color, which is white in her case. And that's the one that I chose for this. It has this pattern kind of effect. I don't know, I'll try to see if she has a picture of it on her Instagram. And then I'll point you there, or I can pop it up here. Because it's kind of hard to show you the colors and then not know what it looks like what I'm trying to achieve, but these are the colors that I chose, and honestly, I'm not so great with choosing colors. It's actually kind of hard for me. I don't really have the eye for it, I don't think. I'm trying, and I really learned just by looking online and looking at striping combos. That's what I did with this one, and just to see how the stripes are spaced and whatnot, which I'm not designing right now, so that doesn't matter. I'm just trying to follow her pattern, but finding yarns that really go together, honestly, that's a little hard for me. So I'm hoping that this works out and that it looks good. Otherwise, that'd be sad. But then, since I went to Hobby Lobby, I saw online that they sold Patton's Croy sock yarn, but I wasn't sure if they actually had it in stores because I am new to sock knitting, so I wasn't sure. But I do know that the Joanne that I have here, they don't carry the sock yarn. They do in Amarillo, which is where I went last weekend. I know that store has it, and I bought, actually I bought two because they had 50% off, and I bought these two. I thought these two would look good together if I did the heel, toe, and cuff, or maybe just the heel and toe. This color, I thought that these blended really well together, so I bought these. And this one is Brown Rose Marl, and then this one I think is Linen. No, Muslin is what it's called. That's the colorway. It's Muslin. And I've been really happy knitting with this, and it's relatively inexpensive, especially since I got it 50% off. I just really want to practice with the socks, and my job allows me to keep my hands busy knitting, but I need something mindless and easy, so socks are my go-to now, just to have on the go. Also, I can do that while I'm out with friends or whatever, waiting for dinner, things like that. That's really why I stocked up on some yarn, because you're going to see I bought even more. Oh, let me grab it. Oh, okay. So actually, this is the same color. Well, they're supposed to be the same. It's called Flax. This one looks a little more gray, and this one looks a little more brown to me. I probably grabbed different dye lots, which is totally fine. But I bought another one because I liked this solid color. But also I bought this one that's the self-striping. I really like that, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's this darker blue, black, and then this white and gray kind of striped strand. And this one is called Eclipse Stripes. So I think this will look really good. Probably, maybe I should have grabbed two of these so I can make him another pair. I don't know. But, and then I also bought this black and white self-striping yarn that I don't know, I was really drawn to this one, and it says zebra stripes, and I think this will look really good worked up into some socks. So I'm really excited to do, to try these colors out, and I'll find new patterns, and yeah, I'll share which patterns I use, if I like them, whatever, but that'll be in future episodes. So hopefully you'll be able to see these worked up. I'm really excited to try these out. And I think that's, oh wait, one more. I have to show off, sorry for the noise. So I found this cute little tin. I went to the thrift stores around town I was actually looking for dishes for the kitchen because my sister's moving out and she's moving away for college, and she'll be moving in August, and she needs some things from her own apartment, or her first apartment really, and I think she's excited for it. I'm excited for her, but I wanted to help her out, and I actually donated her my dishes, and because I found some other dishes that I replaced mine with, so I was looking for things for her, and then I found her a few other things at the thrift store. But while I was there, I found this really cute tin. It was in great shape. The inside isn't bad, and I just really like the fruit. I eat a lot of fruits, so I really like that. And then right now, I actually took it home with me. I think I'm going to keep my circular knitting needles and whatever else will fit in here. But I don't know. You can't ever have too many tins, I don't think. But I just really loved that pattern. I thought it was really cute. And I love watermelon, so I'm glad that one's on there. Oh, actually, one more thing I want to share, and then I'll let you go. So I've never actually used interchangeable knitting needles before. And I was at Joann. I was looking for, or I actually went to pick up my yarn because I ordered it online. But I needed a new set of knitting needles because the ones that I had were too long for this sweater to knit in the round, and I just did not want to do magic loop. And I'm saying that I shop at Joann, and that's just because that's what's here for me. We have Joann, Michaels, and Hobby Lobby. Those are the main stores that I have available to me, and it's kind of sad sometimes because I'd love to have a local yarn store where they have indie dyed yarns and whatnot, and accessories, but that's just why I mention those stores, just because that's where I shop. That's what I have available. But anyway, I was talking about interchangeable needles, and they're really cool. I wasn't sure if they would actually screw on there enough, and if my stitches would get caught, but I've actually been pleasantly surprised on how well they work. Also, I like that the needles are shorter. It's easier almost, at least for like this small of a circumference. It's easier to knit with the smaller needles, just because it gives me more flexibility. So I actually like that, because the ones that I have, I don't have to compare right now, but the ones that I have are longer than this, I'm pretty sure. And again, they're just harder to work with in the round. And maybe that has to do with the length of the cord as well, and whatever you're knitting on. But I've really enjoyed the shorter length. But also another perk is that this pattern that I'm following, it has a 4.5 millimeter needle for the neckband, or like the ribbing part, and then you switch to a bigger set, so the 5 millimeter is the next one that you change to finish off the rest of the sweater. So it's very nice to have the interchangeable set, because I can start off with 4.5, and then whenever I'm done, I just scrunch the needle or the stitches down, and then I just unscrew this and then screw on the bigger pair, and then I'm ready to go. So I have been pleasantly surprised, and I'm definitely going to have to get myself a set of interchangeable needles. I just don't know what brand to go with. So if you have any kind of interchangeable needles that you like or that you would recommend, please let me know in the comments down below, because everybody has their own opinion and I can do my own research, but I would really love to hear what you have to say. Because I'd like to know if there are others out there. I know that Chalgu has some, Knitter's Pride, I think. I know Knit Picks has some. I just don't know what brand you can buy on there. And then, of course, the Clover, which is what this brand would be. But yeah, I would really like to get a set, so let me know which brand you recommend. I think that concludes everything that I completed and really that I wanted to talk about for the month of April. So thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you got something out of this. Maybe a new pattern or a new technique, I don't know. I really hope this got you inspired to go and pick up a project, whether that's knit or crochet, or maybe one of both, I don't know. Maybe you enjoy both like me. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next episode.